We call the meeting to order. Oh, sorry. Are you ready, Kirby? Okay. We call the meeting to order at 5:30. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We will now convene to close session. reconvene at 6 o'clock. There is no report for action taken in closed session. So next, please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we are going to do our oath of office for our 26-27 student board members. For Tech High School, we have Nora McDad. And for Rancho Cotati, we have Abigail Zapata Acosta. So please join me up on front. No, they're going to lead us. All right. So, hold this. Okay. So, can you raise your right hand? And we are going to do the oath of office for the state of California, County of Sonoma at Rohnert Park, the office of student board member. So, I state your name.
I, Nora McFadden.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, very exciting. All right. Going back now. There's that. All right. Okay. And then the mental reservation part, I'm like, oh, we're all a little whack. All right. All right, we have no public comments for items not on the agenda, so we will move right into special recognitions and presentations. So first up, we have our summer 2026 presentation with Alana DeMars, and
it's Elena, it's me.
there you go. All
Flying
right, I
solo
wasn't sure
tonight.
Kristen was coming with you or not.
Yes.
So yeah.
Kristen
All right.
Hoff was supposed
Oh,
to be here
that's right.
tonight. She had a family
Yep.
emergency,
All right.
so it'll just be me.
That's fine. Take it away.
All right. How do I move it? There we go. No? How do I did it on accident. How do I move it intentionally? Okay, there we are. Thank you I'm happy to be here to be the first presentation of the school year. We had a spectacular summer. So I'll give you a little bit of an overview over the three programs that built our summer. Our first was our elementary TK through 6 Summer Enrichment Academy. We were in our 4th year, and we had some pretty spectacular numbers. We had 62 staff work this summer between our faculty that presented classes and our paraprofessionals, instructional assistants. It was amazing. We offered 95 individual classes over 4 sessions this year. Little change from last year. We had 3 sessions. So we added a session, and it was amazing. In fact, we had so many faculty members submit proposals that we had to rotate them. So most teachers taught 3 weeks instead of 4, just so we can fit them all in. We had over 1,400 students participate over the 4-week sessions. So it was amazing. And we generated about $118,000 in attendance recovery ADA. So we were very happy. It was a very seamless shift for our teachers to present the classes that they'd already been doing for the last couple of years into an attendance recovery model. So it was a natural flow. And I really have to hand it to Jared Cohen, our program coordinator who's sitting in the office, because he is compiling and making sure that we have all of the evidence when our auditors come to town. So it was nicely done. Nope. The feedback we got from, this is our 4th year, or 3rd year of doing attendance SEED in this model, and the feedback we got was just joyful. We had teachers that were telling us that this kind of cleanses their palate for the new year. It was an exciting time for teachers to present their own materials, to kind of dive a little deeper in a course study that they were really interested in doing. So it was really fun to watch that come to life. We provided equitable access for our students with special needs and IEPs and 504s. The principal that we selected this year, Cassandra Wilcox, who was amazing throughout the entire session, is an ed specialist. So she came with the lens of special education to really support our students. And Kristen Hoff and I worked seamlessly to make sure that we had supports in place for our students. And of course, our community partnerships, we had our YMCA on site offering before and after school program at no cost for all families. Looking ahead, like I said, the feedback was great. Teachers want more weeks. They want to offer it, they want to work more. So that we'll look at that. They did ask for us to consider an increased daily rate to be more in line with other districts in the county. We want to look at, now that we have a baseline model, we want to look at how do we get creative with the scheduling? Could we have type of block scheduling for our older kids? Could they do, Legos and robotics for 2 hours and then go and do a math for 2 hours and kind of break up the day a little bit that way? So our faculty are already starting to think creatively on how we can do that. And I never thought I'd see the day. They want to help plan it. I mean, this is where we are, and they want that pre-C conversation, like that excitement that builds up to it. So that was a win for us across the board. And there's the team that delivered it. Cassandra Wilcox was spectacular. We had an office manager, Christine Turnhow, which was great. We have a campus supervisor on deck, and Hadley Colville, who was the site director for the YMCA there. So it was a pretty seamless team there. And my biggest takeaway from Summer Enrichment Academy is that it started as an idea 4 years ago. And we are now in a place where this is who we are. This is what we've learned to expect of our programming, and it is it's fun to watch it grow. Now we move on to extended school year. Extended school year is our special education program. Students are identified through their IEPs to receive special education summer programming so that there is no learning loss. We operated 4 sites, are from pre-K all the way up to our 18 plus at Labath. So we were offering services across the board. And we had great numbers, actually, 106 kids at our elementary program. So as I mentioned, ESY is determined through the IEP process, and one of the things that I know Kristen wanted me to convey was we're really looking ahead. This was her first year, so she had all, the lenses open to see what we have done as past practice and where do we go from there. And really, it started the conversation early with her SPED team, special education team, to start identifying early on and how students qualify for ESY and how do we serve them best during the summer. So that was a really great takeaway for them. We also collaborated with the special education department to streamline our registration process through our Activity Hero software that we use for our expanded learning program. So that also was, although a couple bumps and bruises, but it was a very streamlined way. We were able to take attendance, pull reports immediately through that. So it was a great addition. And that is a hefty ESY team. They work really hard during the summer. So, as I mentioned, Kristen would love to have been here, but really a shout out to her entire team that work for months to put this together for our students. And Christy Vitelloni, the site administrator over at Monte Vista, and Anna Maria Young, our site director here. And we move into credit recovery, our high school program. This was an amazing collaboration this year when we were interviewing for the principals to take this position on. Dr. Fields and I were talking to Anna Maria Young, and she really pitched this idea and really stood for this idea that kids need to be in front of teachers. And that was a huge shift for us this year, and it was spectacular. So we offered a hybrid program where we offered the online credit recovery that we've typically done through Edgenuity, but in addition to that, we offered in-person learning for students. So students with in-person learning were able to take English 9 or 10. They were able to take a science, and we had students taking Algebra 1 as well. So those courses were the ones that were identified as it's very difficult to take away from a computer screen. We need to have a human involved in that. And one of the instructors there, am I saying it correctly? It's Kasha. So Kasha couldn't be here this evening. She was one of the teachers, but she wanted to really emphasize that she loved this idea that she was in front of kids. She was making connections. She was making connections with them in a different way. It is a little bit more of a relaxed setting when you're in the summer as opposed to the regular school year. So the value added for our students and I believe for our faculty was exceptional. And in our online credit recovery class, we had 50 students complete at least one class. We had 5 summer graduates, which we're very proud of. We also had an addition of a CPR course that students were able to take. So 12 of our students were CPR certified. And those programs the online credit recovery program were led by 2 amazing teachers that were thrilled to be there as well. And because we did an in-person credit recovery, we were able to count that as attendance recovery, and we will receive back about $34,000. That's just in the month of June. They went 8 days in July as well. So there's some banking that will happen for any absences that we have for the next school year. And every time I present, I always say that we have to recognize how we're contributed to, and these are just a sampling of the departments and the programs and the people that contribute to the success of running essentially another school during the summer. And they went above and beyond across the board. We had food at every site. We were able to provide services for our students like OT and physical therapy and counselors. Our shout out to our human resources team because they really did. They processed 200 summer people, and so it was a huge lift across all departments. But it was one that I think was worth it. Any questions?
Awesome, thank you. Any questions from the trustees?
Yeah, I have a few questions. So the for SEA, we recovered 18,000, you said?
118,000.
118. And then for the high school credit recovery is 34,000?
Yes,
Okay.
roughly. You
And
have to wait.
is that the net gain or is that the gross gain before the expenses?
Well, the beautiful part about the Summer Enrichment Academy is that there is no general fund expense. That all happens through expanded learning.
Oh,
So that dollar amount is something that will come directly back to the general fund. John would probably know better about how we fund credit recovery, but you would know better.
Thank you.
Yeah, credit recovery again was funded by one of our categorical funds, the Learning Recovery Block Grant. So this year, that was the case. And potentially next year, we're going to get some more of that money, but that's going to run out.
Thank you, John, and thank you for the presentation, and congratulations on a successful summer. So, talking about next year, because this was a 5-year grant or something for this program? Is next year our last year
Of which grant?
for this program?
This is
No?
a forever grant.
ELAP is ongoing.
Oh, ELAP,
Yes.
okay. So next summer is a go.
Next summer's ago.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trustee Brown?
I was just curious, could you elaborate a little bit more on the SEA program? Teachers were very excited about that, and I heard that it was, I guess, subject matter that was of interest to them.
Yes.
I'd like to hear more about what excited them about
Absolutely.
that.
So we pitched this idea a few years back where they could come up with whatever they wanted to teach. If they wanted to teach Legos, if they wanted to do cooking, we have probably our most popular class is called Kid Chef. And so, or if it's art or bookmaking, or it was really, what is your passion and what do you want to see happen during that week? And it's a short burst, right? So they can teach the same class multiple weeks. They can change it up and teach a different class every session. But it was really, what are they passionate about? And one of the things that I think they discovered or realized was that when we bring as adults, when we bring that joy into our workplace, into our office, into our classrooms, that is mirrored right back at us. And so because it's an optional program, because students are signing up for things that light them up a little bit, you have a bunch of kids that really want to do Legos, or you really want to do sports and fitness. We brought it outside. We had some active classes as well. For our younger students, we had the basics, just in TK and kindergarten, there's a successful class called Under the Sea. And so it's everything about Under the Sea. And so it's joyful for the teachers to design that, but even more so because it feels special when those students come in during the summer. And that's what we want during the summer. We don't want a student to come in and begrudgingly have to go to math class. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing math, like in the baking class. So, that was a grade level that or a standard that they align to. And obviously we all as adults know that you can tie in math with cooking, and they did. So that's what excites them about it.
That's awesome, thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
So did we have more CRP USD teachers that wanted to do this than space to allow?
We didn't turn anyone away this year,
Okay.
which is great. We have done that in the past. It was because last year, you'll remember, ESY and C shared a campus.
Mhm.
And this summer, we had to pivot a little bit because we had some construction happening at John Reed. We had been identified to go to John Reed. We had to move back to Evergreen. So we split up. And because we split up, we had ample space. However, we also have to be mindful that we can have as many teachers as we want. And we have a certain cap on students, you know. I can't imagine, maybe we'll get to a place where we have 500 students want to do the program, but I want those programs to go as well. So we have a 1-to-20 ratio. We had some classes that had 20 on the dot, and we had other classes that went with 7. And so we have to kind of balance and weigh that out a little bit. We want just enough offerings so that they all go, so everybody has their employment. So the rotation seemed to work. We did about 22 to 25 classes a week. So that seemed to be the good balance.
And then you said, so is there, is a teacher's daily rate during the school year different than the daily rate to do C?
It is, no. Say it again, say that again.
So a teacher's daily rate during the school year, is it the same as when they're doing summer school, or is it lower?
No, there's a negotiated MOU
Right.
that has a daily rate, and it is higher than the extra duty rate that we have, like if you were to work an extra hour. It's higher than that.
But it may not be as high as their actual
Correct.
daily rate,
Okay.
depending on where they are in the salary schedule.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Perfect. That's all my questions. Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting us money too. That's
You
really
bet.
cool. All right. All right. Next we have Rachel Allen, who is going to introduce, if I'm not incorrect, the entire Rancho Cotati El Camino administration for the 26-27 school year.
All right.
Yes, they're all doing the Rancho Cotati cheer. They don't know this, but
We got a crew. Come on up. We can all be here together. Don't fall off the stage. Okay. Please join me in welcoming the entire team. I'll introduce them one at a time, tell you a little bit about them. First of all, please join me in welcoming Amy Alvarez, our interim principal. Amy is a Rancho alum who grew up in Rohnert Park and returned to lead the very school that shaped her. She attended Richard Crane Elementary, Mountain Shadows Middle School, and graduated from Rancho Cotati. After earning her degree in political science and international relations from California Baptist University, she came back to the district, teaching at Technology High School, before spending 3 years as an assistant principal at Rancho. You're taking our photo. Ms. Alvarez is a proud and unapologetic, boo, Dodgers fan, avid traveler, always working to fill up her passport. Her most recent stop was Scotland. She is honored to take the lead at Rancho and provide the level of support for students and families that she received during her time there. Welcome, Amy. Next. Please join me in welcoming Assistant Principal, Dr. Lorraine Gainey. Dr. Gainey. Dr. Gainey has served in a variety of educational roles, including paraprofessional, elementary teacher, and dean of students. They began their career working in county special education programs before transitioning to the classroom and later into school leadership. Dr. Gainey earned their Doctorate of Education from San Francisco State University, where their research focused on creating more affirming and equitable educational experiences for Black queer students. Outside of school, Dr. Gainey enjoys spending time with their wife, teenage daughter, 2 dogs, as well as trying new restaurants, traveling, and staying active. They are excited to join the school community and look forward to partnering with students, families, and staff to support every student's success. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Next up. Please join me in welcoming Assistant Principal Justin Morey. Mr. Morey comes to Rancho Cotati and El Camino high schools with more than 25 years of administrative and teaching experience. He earned his bachelor's degree in history from UC Santa Barbara His teaching credentials, history and introductory science from UC Irvine, and a master's in educational leadership and administrative services credential from Chapman University. Throughout his career, Mr. Morey has focused on expanding academic opportunities, strengthening social-emotional supports, and fostering inclusive, transparent school communities. Outside of school, Mr. Morey enjoys spending time with his wife, traveling, exercising, and riding his motorcycle. He looks forward to partnering with Rancho and El Camino students, staff, and families to support a vibrant and equitable learning environment. Welcome. Last but not least, please join me in welcoming Assistant Principal Dave Ramalia. Ramalia. I always say it wrong. I knew. I looked at him because I was like, I even made a little note to myself and still said it wrong. Also goes by Mr. R, correct? Maybe I'll go that route. Mr. R started his educational career as a high school campus supervisor, a football coach at El Molino High School in West Sonoma County. Over the past 17 years, he has taught and been an administrator at all levels of education, from elementary to high school, including 3 years as a principal for a local non-public school serving students with significant emotional and behavioral needs. He earned his master's in educational administration and an administrative services credential from Concordia University in Irvine. Mr. R has 4 adult children, 2 adult stepchildren, and 3 beautiful grandchildren. He and his wife, who's also an educator, recently bought their first home here in Rohnert Park with their 2 dogs. Welcome, Mr. R.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Amy, I can see you have a
Thank you,
very
guys.
shy
Welcome.
bunch that you're going to be working with this year, so.
Michelle, question?
Yeah,
Amy, what year did you graduate from the ranch?
2009.
2009. Oh, you're much younger than my kids. My kids were already out of here by then. Congratulations. And the Dodgers tried to sign me to a contract, but I've got a lifetime no trade thing with the Giants, so sorry.
That's
So
okay.
I'm stuck with the Giants.
Left, you and I can have lots of conversations.
Okay. So welcome to all of you and looking forward to this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a great team. We're privileged to welcome them. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next up, we have reports and communication. Trustee reports on activities. Trustee Johnson.
No report.
Trustee Brown.
Pass.
Trustee Nelson.
No report.
Trustee Martin.
No report.
Me, no report. All right. Student board, do we have student board member reports? Oh, look at us. Okay. All right, so first up for Tech High School, we will have Nora McDad.
Okay. Hello, my name is Nora MacDad, and I'm the Public Relations Officer for Tech High this year. A little bit about me, I play volleyball for Tech's varsity team, and this year I am playing for Empire Club Volleyball. This is my second year playing for Tech, for varsity on Tech, and I'm an outside hitter and middle hitter. I love traveling with my family. I've been to many different places. I've been to Alaska. We're going to Austria this year. We go back to Chicago where we used to live. And I have 2 dogs, Annie and Hobbs, a little yellow lab, and an even littler miniature dachshund. And then I'm passionate about leadership, and I've been in many leadership positions since middle school when I was an honor student in the Expeditionary Learning Program over at Lawrence Jones Middle School. I am a youth Unitarian worship associate at my church in Petaluma, Unitarian Universalist of Petaluma, where I work with my parents to make sermons to deliver to the congregation. Last year I was a part of Congressman Thompson's Student Leadership Council, where we would travel around Sonoma County, and many different speakers from different organizations would come and speak to us about how to make a difference in our community and keep and how we can do things as high school students that can't vote. Last year I served as one of the freshman representatives at Tech High for the ASB class, and this year I am their public relations officer. That's all. I hope you learned a little bit more about who I am, and I couldn't be more excited to be a part of this, a part of the student board committee, and yeah, I'm ready to represent Tech as the public relations officer this year.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And then we have Abigail Zapata Acosta for Rancho Cotati.
Click down on it. Sorry. Click button. Enter. Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Abby, and this year I will be a junior. What has pushed me to become school board representative is that I wanted to take a step outside of school-based activities for students and get to know the teachers, staff, and as well as board that makes getting an education possible. One of my responsibilities is to show appreciation for our staff, and as I feel many students do not know how blessed they are able to come to a safe campus, have free food available, and support and opportunities. I plan to represent student voices through a Google form that I have created called Cougar Check-ins. They will be monthly check-ins with some questions regarding any events on campus, if they have any issues, and a mental check to see how they are doing. Furthermore, have monthly meetings with Ms. Alvarez the Friday before a board meeting to debrief on topics that I would like to present to the board, as well as give our perspectives of what is happening on campus. This way, I am able to get as much student body opinions as possible. A little about me is that I have 2 dogs, a Chiweenie named Flash and a mix named Dash, as well as a neighborhood cat that I call Grisita. So I'm definitely a dog and cat person. However, my overall favorite animal are harbor seals. I am currently in an internship with Latino service providers in Santa Rosa. My job is being a mental health youth promoter, so at tabling events, I provide services about mental health to Latino communities, but please note we serve all. I also attend trainings, and this summer I became a certified community health worker. I am also a part of Upward Bound at Sonoma State. I love going onto campus during Saturday or summer academy to learn and get the opportunity to visit college campuses. Last but not least, this is my 3rd year in ASB, but 2nd year on the executive board. My freshman year, I was freshman rep. Last year, I was treasurer, and this year, I am school board rep. And some activities that I participate in are school soccer and tennis, ballet folklorico for the school district, as well as for the SRJC, and I love making art. A fun fact about me is that I can read and write cursive. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We're happy to have you both with us. I can't believe it's the school year already, but here we go. All right, Dr. Ituri for our superintendent's report.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I just want to give a couple of updates. School was off to a great start. We were at all the campuses in the first week, very excited to see all the kids return and the staff. It was a great feeling on all the campuses. We this year we didn't have our traditional welcome back, but we did a video which starred Josh Brown Herrera and Meredith Keenan Boggs, which was really delightful and very fun to watch. And that's also how we honored our employees in their 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40-year commitments to our district. And we are also attending school assemblies and rallies and providing the pins to our staff in those spaces, which has been really nice because the kids get to see that and celebrate their staff, which is really lovely. So that's been, and we've gotten some positive feedback on that staff appreciates being honored in front of the school community. The other thing that's happening, which some people have literally run into, are the solar projects. So they are happening around the campus, around the school campuses, and we're doing the very best we can to make sure that we're not having a huge impact on the campus, but construction has an impact on the campuses. Some parking lots have been disrupted, so we're really grateful to the community and the staff for their patience with us. And we're going to try to get out ahead of the communication a little better than we have from the start. But we're currently at LJ, TPA, TMS, and Evergreen, and we'll be moving on to the Rancho, Hahn campuses in the future, and Richard Crane and a couple other ones. So we'll try to get as much information out to the principals so they can get it out to the community as quickly as possible. And I want to thank Josh Savage, who's done an amazing job coordinating all this, and John Bartolome, who they have spearheaded this from the beginning and stuck with it. And we know it took them a couple of years to get this across the finish line. So I'm very grateful to both of them. And I also thank Public Safety for coming out and offering us some support in some of those spaces that are a little tight. So that's all I have for today. So thank you so much.
Great, thank you. All right, next we have our Rohnert Park Cotati Educators Association report. We have Grace Dowker.
Hello. Happy Tuesday. I almost said Monday. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be back. Happy New Year. I just want to reintroduce myself. My name is Grace Dowker. By day, I'm a 5th grade teacher at Evergreen. And in the early mornings, during my lunch, and after school, I'm now the RIPSIA president this year, which is very exciting. It's been an exciting beginning to the school year, and it's been exciting to welcome our new and returning students, staff, and families back to our campuses. I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible hard work and dedication our staff put in before the school year has even begun. As summer was coming to an end, teachers were already back in their classrooms, preparing lessons, organizing the rooms, planning for their students, and thinking about how they can make this year a success. The time, dedication, and care our members give, often during outside of contract hours, goes above and beyond the given job. As we kick off the school year, it's been wonderful to see the district's years of service pin assemblies. This year, the district has presented the pins at school-wide assemblies, and our staff have truly loved it. Members have shared with me that receiving the year of service pins in front of their students and colleagues made the recognition feel especially meaningful. It is a wonderful way to celebrate our people who have dedicated so much years to our district and schools. We are also getting excited to have back to school night at many of our sites, where teachers will have the opportunity to welcome families, share what their classrooms will look like, and build the most important relationship for our schools to be strong. And now, while we've only been in school for 5 days, our members have already been facing some challenges as educators across the public education have been experiencing. We have large class sizes and caseloads, increasing academic and social-emotional needs, staffing challenges, and never-growing demands placed on our educators. So this year, my slogan as union president is fighting for the schools our students deserve. I'm incredibly honored to be a teacher in this district, and I'm equally honored to serve as union president this year. The work ahead of us will not always be easy. There'll be difficult conversations, challenges, and moments where we may not all agree, but I believe this work will always be worth it. Because when we fight for our educators, we are fighting for the conditions they need to make the best work. And when we fight for the conditions, ultimately, we are fighting for what's best for our students. So as we begin the school year, I'm looking forward to continuing our work together with our district, our community, and our board members in building the schools our students deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, any questions? Not that I have many answers, but any questions?
No? Thank you.
See you next month.
All right. There's no receipt of official correspondence, correct? All right. Next up, we have the consent agenda, items A through O. Are there any questions or discussion about any of them? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through O?
All motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Personal services, approval of variable term waiver.
All right, good evening.
Good evening. Tonight, we're asking permission to provide a variable term waiver for a credentialed PE teacher to continue to teach adaptive PE. He's finishing up his program now. The hope was that he would have finished it over the summer, but he needs just a little bit more time, so we're asking for this waiver until he is fully credentialed for the position that he's in.
Okay, any questions? Can I get a motion to approve 10A, approval of variable term waiver?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consideration and approval of a classified employee retirement agreement.
Okay. Tonight, I am requesting that the board approve an early retirement incentive program for an eligible classified employee who's represented by CSEA, as outlined in Article 6.4 of the CSEA Collective Bargaining Agreement. This program is intended to provide eligible employees with an incentive to retire prior to September 30th of that school year, supporting the district's efforts to manage staffing costs and plan strategically for classified workforce needs. Any questions about that?
Any questions or discussion? All right, can I get a motion to approve the certificated employee retirement agreement?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next up, we have our educational services. So item 11A will be a public hearing to solicit the recommendations and comments of the public regarding the purposes of determining the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials in the following subject areas: mathematics, history, social science, and reading language arts. The floor is now open for public comment. Don't all rush at once, please. All right, seeing no public comment, I would like to invite Assistant Superintendent Jamal Fields to present item 11B, Resolution 2027-4, determining sufficiency of instructional materials.
Thank you. Education Code 60119 requires that district governing boards hold a public hearing and make a determination through a resolution as to whether each pupil in each school of the district has sufficient textbooks or instructional materials that are aligned with the content standards adopted pursuant to Section 60605 in each of the following subjects as appropriate, that are consistent with the content and cycles of the curriculum frameworks adopted by the state board in mathematics, science, history, social science, English language arts, including the English language development component of the adopted program. So as part of the hearing required pursuant to this section, the Board of Trustees also shall make a written determination as to whether each pupil enrolled in a foreign language or health course has sufficient textbooks or instructional materials that are consistent with the content and cycles of the curriculum frameworks adopted by the state board for those subjects. We have checked and made sure, and we assert that all of our textbooks are sufficient and that we have the proper materials in all of those subjects.
I apologize for not sending this question. It just came up in my mind. But how does it, thank you, how does it work when we have a student that is not proficient in English and they're taking a math course? They are getting a math book or math instruction in English, right?
Yes.
But at what point do we offer them instruction in a different language, or do we never do that?
No, we do sometimes. We
right?
determine whether or not they are proficient in another language first, because if we provide, we could provide a book in Spanish, but if they're not illiterate in Spanish, it wouldn't be very useful. So we do. And when we have students that are newcomers, we assess their needs, and then we look to see if we can provide support in their home language for that core content.
Okay. Because I know that when Trustee Chimino was on the board, that was one of his things, is he had a friend who was really, really good at math, but failed math because he was fluent in Spanish, not in English, and just didn't understand the thing. But when they gave him a Spanish book, they were like, oh, now he has straight A's. So anyway.
Surprise.
Great. Any other questions or comments about item 11B?
I do. We bought a lot of textbooks. Was it last year? And so I don't remember us buying a bunch this year.
Every year we survey the teachers and the site staff to look at what they need. So if they have an added class the following year, or if things have been misplaced or lost, then we replace them. So we do that every year. We try and use, one of the things we first did when we came is to get all of the excess materials, gather them together, and then when someone puts in an order, we try and make sure that we're filling it first with what things we have.
Well, I'm glad we front-loaded, because I remember one year we were buying a bunch of textbooks, so I'm glad we're looking good. Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2027-4, determining sufficiency of instructional materials?
All motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye. Aye.
Yes. All right. Approval of consolidated application for categorical programs.
Yeah, we ask that the board approve the consolidated application for categorical programs report for the 26-27 school year. This is our yearly consolidated application report. It is our request for categorical program funding and explains the usage of those funds. And we do it every year.
Would you mind just reminding us what categorical programming is?
Categorical funds in this case refer to the federal programs like Title I, II, III, and IV that get applied to this district. There are two Title III programs that we get money for.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions about 11C? All right, can I get a motion to approve the consolidated application for categorical programs?
I'll move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, we're gonna keep on going. So next up, we have presentation of Superstar Health Education, SHE.
All right, so we have Ashley DeGrano, the Director of Educational Services, and Alexander Cotton from SHE, and he's the Program Director and Co-Director, or not the Co-Director as well, but they will give a presentation about the program.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ashley DeGrano, and I'm the new Director of Educational Services, here to introduce our new Inclusive Health Education vendor partnership for this district. Superstar Health Education, also known as SHE, provides health education programming in school districts across the Bay Area. Centrally located in San Francisco, SHE's values include justice, self-worth and self-esteem building, and responsibility. Last school year, an advisory group of educators came together to review several local vendors for inclusive health education, and Superstar Health Education overwhelmingly impressed our team and was chosen to become our partner in this important work. This school year, we intend to provide comprehensive, inclusive health education to our 7th and 9th graders, as well as several groups of 8th and 10th graders that did not have access to the curriculum and instruction last school year. Alexander Cotton, who's here with me tonight, Program Director for Superstar Health Education, is going to provide more information in the upcoming slide deck about their approach, their team, family involvement, and implementation. We'll take questions after. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, giving me the opportunity to spend some time with you and to introduce Superstar Health Education. As Ashley said, I'm Alexander Cotton. I'm Program Director and Co-Director of Superstar. We've been around since 2010, providing health and sexuality education to schools all around the Bay Area. And as you know, the California Healthy Youth Act, the California Ed Code, requires comprehensive sexuality education to happen once in middle school and once in high school. So we're honored to be invited to become the vendor to provide that health education here in this district. You can see a little map of some of the other schools that we work with around the Bay Area. We have a few down in San Jose as well that didn't fit on the map, but this gives you an idea. And you can see our plan is to work with, as Ashley said, 7th and 9th, the primary grades targeted to receive human sexuality education. As well, this year we'll be working with some 8th and 10th graders who weren't able to receive the program last year. And then moving forward, we'll continue to work with the grades that need this education. 1 grade at the middle school level and 1 grade at the high school level. This is a little bit about how we do what we do, our approach, our educational approach. We're science-based, We include all kinds of people while we're educating. That means people, sure, of different sexual orientations, for example, right, as something that's linked to sexuality. But it also means people of all different types, people of different cultures and skin colors, people with disabilities, right, who are often left out of sexuality education. So we're inclusive in the broad sense of the word. We're trying to make sure that all different kinds of people are included, which makes all the students in the classroom feel included. We deliver the facts that we deliver in an age-appropriate way. An interesting quirk of the Ed Code is that the education that it requires, the human sexuality education mandated by the Ed Code, the content is actually the same for the middle school and the high school program. The same material needs to be covered, but we can cover it in a slightly different way based on the age level that we're working with. We're shame-free. Our goal is to provide information, right? Families provide values, we provide information. We just provide facts. And it's the families that will help their students pick up the values of their community and their culture, which will help them use the facts and information that we provide. Okay? But we're not going to shame anyone regardless of what their approach is. We're not going to shame any student regardless of whether that student may or may not have engaged in any sort of sexual activity, right? That's not our goal. Our goal is to just provide the information that they need. As I mentioned a second ago, different families have different approaches. And so this next bullet point is really important. We're respectful of the diversity of opinion within the community. In other words, in each classroom of students, we are going to have students from families all over the map in terms of their approach, their values, what they think about sexuality and how what role it should play in people's lives, their religions, right? We have a lot of diversity in each classroom. And that means that when topics arise, as they always do, where sexuality and values intersect, or sexuality and politics intersect, which they do, we always respect the diversity within the classroom and the diversity of opinions within family. And we talk about that range of beliefs. And then we like to think that our education is engaging. We like to think that our classes are fun, that the students enjoy them, and we do get feedback from the students that they do. So I hope that that bullet point is accurate. Some of our staff, we have a variety of backgrounds, variety of languages spoken. And the parent piece, I want to spend a little bit of time on because this is very important to us. We spend 5 hours with these students. That is enough time to pass on some facts and some information. Their parents, their families, their trusted adults spend years and years and years with them. And so ultimately, it is their parents, their guardians, their trusted adults who are going to be the primary health and sexuality educators for each of the students in the district. All we're doing is providing some information for them so that those conversations can continue at the family level. So we're really respectful of the different perspectives that parents have, because this education is a subject just like any other, right? Just like math, just like science. We want to encourage as many students to be as part of the program as possible. Generally, the vast majority of parents just want their students to get this information, but they do have the right in California to opt out their student from health education if they feel that they would rather tackle this education at home. So all parents have that right. And as part of our parent engagement process, we hold workshops at each site for the parents and families at the school so that all of the parents can, have that welcomed feeling. They know what's going to be taught. They have access to all the materials, right? We're sending home information about the program. And that will give all of the parents that sense of reassurance and the ability to continue these conversations when they need to, and to continue having these conversations at home, while simultaneously allowing that small slice of parents that would rather do this according to their own values at home, the opportunity to do that opt-out, right? So we provide like template language to the schools so they can get those letters home, all the parents know what's going on, etc. Implementation, sort of the administrative back and forth between us and the sites, right? We have packets that we send to the sites that give them a little checklist of all the things they need to sort of line up and have ready. And then the sites host our educator for a week. So it's as if we have sort of a it's like we have a guest teacher model, right? For about a week, for those 5 one-hour sessions, we've got our educator based at the school. They'll teach multiple classes at that school. Tentatively, we're going to be working in the physical education block. Not all the implementation details are nailed down yet, but that's our rough plan as of right now. And there's, like I said, a lot of scaffolding for each site to move through the process smoothly. Here are the topics we cover. As I said, all of this material is sort of mandated by the Ed Code. It's pretty clear in the law what needs to be covered. It's about how we cover it, right? And so I'll leave you to glance through those bullet points, and you can ask me questions if you have anything else that you want to sort of delve into more. But you can see that it's a lot to fit in within that 5 hours. These last 2 sections, I'm not going to read them at you, but they are, in the information that you have. These are the details provided in the Ed Code for the standards that health education needs to meet. And so you can see things like, accessible to language learners, accessible to students with disabilities, right? We're making sure, the Ed Code's making sure that this can get to all of our students here in California, and that all of the material that they need in order to be a safe, healthy adult, have healthy relationships is included. You've got that set, and then a bunch more words on this slide, which again, I will not read off at you, but you have access to if you want to delve in.
All right.
What questions do you have for me?
I think we'll start with Trustee Johnson and then just work our way down.
Thank you. This is very exciting. You have a lot of different folks with different, that you're going to be covering, disabilities and so on.
Yeah.
Do you go into breakout sessions and put them in little pods, or how do you tackle that?
Great point. Great question. With the amount of material that we need to cover, we wish we could be there for a month, right? And breaking out into smaller groups to have more in-depth discussions about this material, or to delve into students' identities and how it affects them, stuff like that, that would be awesome. We don't have time for it in the 5 hours. And so generally, the way that a lot of that inclusiveness happens is when topics come up that might touch on a subject, say something comes up around sex and disability, right? We might mention, I know a disability activist who I always mention, who's given me permission to speak about him in this way, who uses a wheelchair. He's in a motorized wheelchair, but he's still able to engage in sexuality, right? And to have healthy sexual relationships. And that's something that often has not occurred to the students. And that's an example that we bring up sort of in passing to help broaden their horizons. So that's an example of the way that might come up.
Yeah, I have a question. The 8th and 10th graders that
Yes.
would they missed the 5 1-hour sessions last year, or we didn't have it?
We had a disruption in the provider that we had, and they were not able to complete the program. So some of our seventh graders and 9th graders did not get the program.
Okay.
Right. But since the Ed Code mandates just that it happen once in middle and once in high, the district's still in compliance as long as we catch those 8th and 10th graders this year. So we're just playing a little bit of catch up.
Okay.
I have 2 questions. For the parent night,
Yes.
do you find that many parents come out for that?
Yes. We offer both an in-person and a Zoom option for those parent events in order to sort of maximize turnout. Depending on what the community needs, we'll pick one or the other. Our experience is that the in-person events are a lot more engaging and really tend to build more momentum around health education. So we prefer running the in-person workshops when we can. I would say our average turnout for the in-person workshops, it's not huge. We're not packing stadiums here. It's like, generally, it's like 10 to 20 parents, maybe in person for a lot of our schools. On Zoom, it often tends to be more, maybe in the 20 to 35 range, but many of those parents have their cameras off, and you're just sort of, you're hoping that they're there, but they might be cooking dinner and picking the kids up from the hockey game. You never really know. So
Okay. Second question, when you include instruction for students with disabilities, does that take place in special ed classrooms as well as general ed?
great question. So that's going to be a conversation we're going to continue to have. We have specialized versions of our curriculum which are designed to be delivered specifically in SDC classes, so that students who have a stronger, students who are moderate to severe in terms of specifically like intellectual disability can still access the most crucial elements of sexuality education. Unfortunately, as you may know, students with disabilities are more likely actually to be the victims of sexual abuse, and protection against sexual abuse and unhealthy relationships is part of the curriculum. That said, for capacity and budget reasons, we may not be able to run like full versions of the curriculum for, each site with the standard population and then again with the SDC classes. So we may be using the push-in model. We're still in conversations about that. Would you say that's accurate, Superintendent?
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you come back, I got a couple questions.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Or you go ahead, no.
Okay, I'll go first. So you are with these students for a week,
Yes.
an hour-ish a day, talking about some pretty personal things. And some things may come up in a student's mind while you're there, or they may come up later.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Dr. Ituri's big push is that every student has one trusted adult in
Yes.
our district. So here you are in my classroom, and you're talking about something that, like, spurs something in me, and then you leave.
Yep.
So who do I talk to? Do you say, like, here's how you can contact me later? Do you guys just leave and hope I find someone else that maybe I connect with? Or how, I have a little bit of a concern of talking to students about some pretty personal things.
Right.
And then what resources are left when you guys leave?
Because as a visitor, right, we're not going to be there that next hour or later in the day. what
Or
have you.
in a week from now, or a
week,
month
yeah.
from now, when I finally get the courage or realize it myself that I may need help, or,
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Thank you and that question shows a real concern for the students, and I really appreciate that. That's why I'm doing this work. Just to lay the groundwork, all of us at Superstar are mandated reporters. And of course, it does unfortunately come up sometimes that we do get disclosures, whether publicly in class or after class. If the student feels like they have built that level of trust, they will sometimes come up to us and talk about something that they do need help with. Because we are guest educators, we do not treat ourselves as the primary, line of point of contact for that. And of course, it would be inappropriate for us to, communicate or interact with students in any way outside of school or outside of the classroom. So we never give our own information to students for that follow-up. However, first, we're always presenting in the context of an existing classroom, right? With the credentialed teacher present, who is sort of our partner in that process. And so our first hope would be that that teacher who is, there with us the whole time can be that first point of contact. In addition, we do make sure to always mention to the students, okay, here's your point of contact at the school if you need to talk about any of these things. The school social worker, for example, or a school nurse, an administrator, whoever wants to be that point person at that site. We can sort of put that person as the next line of connection.
But the teachers are in the room with you. So
Yes.
even if it's like, remember what we talked about last Wednesday, and I don't know where to get this service, or I don't know who to talk to, at least the teacher was there so they know what you said, or
Right,
where you
there's
said
that
to go.
there's that
Okay.
follow-up, or like, oh, that discussion that we had, I'm feeling this feeling about it, can we
Yeah.
talk? That person will still be there. Yeah.
Okay, great. That was my question. Thank you. All right, Trustee Brown.
So how are the 5 hours administered? I mean, is it at the same time for everybody? If I'm a math teacher, am I giving up PE? So it's in physical education, okay.
Yeah.
And then what's the opt-out program for parents?
So the way the opt-out works is we make sure that all families get plenty of notification about the program. They get our contact information. They get notified where they can go to review the materials, right? To review the materials that we're using to teach and all of that. So we have template language we provide to the sites. They get that out to the community. And it does let the parents know that if they'd prefer to do this, have these conversations at home, prefer to do this education at home, all they need to do is let the school know. Each school will have a point person, generally the front office person, right? Like the school secretary or the administrator, who is point person to receive those opt-outs. They collect those names and they make sure that before the first day of instruction, our credentialed partnering teacher, in this case, the PE teacher, receives those names to make sure to excuse those students before the 1 hour class, and those students go to engage in another productive activity for that hour in a predetermined location, and they're just continue to be excused that way for each day of the instruction.
Going back to the 5 hours, is it
Sure.
5 days, 1 hour?
Say again?
Is it 5 days, 1 hour?
Yes.
Because I mean, our high school, some of them are 2 hour classes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to point out.
And our middle school, traditionally 1 hour classes, right?
Exactly. So we are flexible on that front, right? So the goal is the 300 instructional minutes. We are not necessarily tied to 1 hour per day exactly. We have flexibility in delivering that 300 minutes. So that's part of that implementation back and forth between us and the site, depending on what works at a particular school. Wait, why don't we take over this PE class here? But then we're actually, then we're 1 hour short that's fitted in over here. So it's a little bit of a Tetris that we do with each school site to make sure it fits.
So you said something that actually really struck with me, and I think we actually need to use it for our school mottos. But you said families are there to provide the values, and you provide the facts and info. And I just really wanted to call that out and say that's really important, because I think sometimes in a lot of different topics that we talk about at school, we aren't necessarily telling students how to think. We're just telling them that all these things exist. And I will tell you, when I went to high school, we were taught values, not info, but I went to a private school, and it was more the values. I clutched my pearls sometimes when I got out. But so I just really wanted to say that that's really cool. And that's a really great way to explain things sometimes when parents ask us questions too, that, hey, we are just here to provide info. It doesn't mean that what your family believes or values or what your morals and ethics are in your family, that trumps anything that we're doing. So
Absolutely.
I think that was really cool. So thank you for that.
Especially in the field of human sexuality, a thing that I often say at the beginning of my classes is you are going to hear about things this week that are new to you, right? And that's part of understanding the world and learning about the world. And there may be things that show up in your culture and you're excited about, and there's going to be other things where you're like, oh, that's not part of my culture or experience, and that's totally fine. We're teaching you that these things exist to help you go out and navigate the world.
And you never know, some of the students might teach you something new too in the class.
They often do.
Great. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much for coming tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the Superstar Health Education SHE program?
I move.
Can I get a second? Anyone?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. You guys are very slow with your motions tonight. I'm gonna
It's
lose
the first
my
day
over-under
back.
with John and Jamal here pretty soon. All right. You paid one of them off. I know it. Yeah. All right. No business and operation services. So next up, we had Board of Services, the 5-day enrollment for the 26-27 presentation. And I would like to thank Miss Maya Russell-Nava, who put this together on Friday at the last minute at my request. So thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry if it was a lot.
You're welcome. Maya Russell-Nava, your Director of Student Services, and I take no credit. I give all the credit to the office managers. So they are the ones that are trolling through the numbers on a daily basis to give us this data. So this is by school site. I'm actually already realized there's a couple mistakes, specifically under Richard Crane, so I can give you those numbers now if you want. If not, I can give you an updated table. This is off of our 10-day report that office managers send in regarding the attendance, which is students in seats at each of our school sites per day, and this will continue on until our 10-day mark, which is August 24th. And then Richard Crane has already done this, but so that's why their data is a little off. That's their enrollment number, but I can give you their attendance over the last 4 days. We were not able to capture today. There's a lot of, we don't have all the data yet in, so we're still waiting on a couple school sites. Any questions, or do you want me to run kind of through them?
No, so I mean, if I do my math correctly, it has, if we use the expected enrollment number, it has our ADA at 5,900, which is in line with what you were projecting, right, John? Yeah. So. Awesome.
Question?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the high school, Rancho.
Yeah, me
Yep.
too.
And from day 1 to day 3, went up and then went down 82. Do we know of the attendance and the enrollment if we're missing some people that are, I guess my question is, when do we verify enrollment? Does it take a while for enrollment to settle down and we know
Yes.
exactly what enrollment is?
Yes.
How long? Sorry.
Specifically, so this 10 days is important because families have choice, right? They can
Right.
enroll in our district, but actually attend a different high school, and we have 10 days to drop them or get notified, right, that they're not coming to us.
Right.
That's part of their rights. So we're using those first 10 days to tease that out. And then really from there might still be some, no-shows or changes or things that occur. I would say typically it's around September that we have a really solid number.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
Does look like
Yeah.
a lot of people took a 3-day weekend.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yay. Oh, you got to push the little thing up.
Sorry, I have a quick question. So currently attendance is a concern in the school district, and I wanted to ask, why is that?
Oh, we can explain that.
Good
So,
question.
schools, this is my public service announcement of why attendance is so important. So we have enrollment. So we were expecting 6,428 students at all of our schools. So we've gotten that many books, and we've gotten that many teachers, and we've gotten that many chairs and desks and pens and pencils and all the things that students need from TK all the way up through 12th grade to be successful on the first day of school. But we only get paid, so we get paid based on the number of students that actually are sitting in a classroom each day. You don't have to be at school all day. That would be great if you were for your academic success. But if you don't come to school, then we don't get paid for you that day. But we're still paying your teacher and the lights and the classroom, and we still bought your books and your pencils and all the things it is to educate you. So we are paying for 6,000, we are spending money to educate 6,400 students, but we're only getting paid for 6,100 students that day. Does that make sense? So what we really like is preferably take your vacations on non-school days. That's why we have summer break or, winter break and little 3-day weekends and things like that. If you have a doctor's appointment or some other appointment you need to go to, you can come to school in the morning and then have to leave at lunchtime to go to an appointment. Or if your appointment's in the morning, come back to school in the afternoon. We understand that things happen, right? But we only get money. We only get to collect a paycheck and clock in our time card if students are actually at school.
Okay.
Otherwise, we don't get paid at all.
Okay, so I understand. So vacation, illnesses, doctor appointments causes this decrease in payment for attendance, and that's the big concern. Okay.
And one of the misconceptions is you have excused and unexcused absences. The only thing that really matters for is whether your teacher is going to let you make up that test or make up that homework. It doesn't matter for any of us. If you aren't there because you're sick, we don't want you to come to school if you're sick. But if you're not there because you're sick or you're not there because you're on vacation, we still don't get paid. So, you know, sometimes parents call in and say, oh, my kid's not feeling well when they're really going on vacation or they're doing something. Doesn't really matter to us. It might matter to your teacher because teachers have different policies of if they will allow work or not allow work.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter from a finance standpoint at all.
Yes, and our teachers went over with us about the 9-day policy or the 18-day policy. If we miss too much days, then we cannot, if they're unexcused, then we cannot recover work for those days.
Oh, all right.
Thank you. And just to clarify, it's the board that wouldn't be getting paid, but teachers are getting paid no matter
Oh,
what.
yeah. No, it's the school district that doesn't
The
get paid.
district,
Yeah,
okay.
but that's the money that we use to, teachers still
Okay.
get paid. Don't worry about that. But that's the money that we use to pay the teachers and buy
Run the
the
district,
things
yeah.
and.
Yeah.
Um,
So let me draw just one analogy. So imagine 100 students don't show up, and that we planned on 100 students, and we get an average of 15,000 or maybe a little bit more per student. So if we get 15,000 per student and 100 students don't show up, that's $1.5 million we have less to run the district with.
Yeah.
And if we had planned for that, and now I'm short $1.5 million, we have to make adjustments in our spending plan or go into your reserve and, take your money out of your savings account.
Yeah.
So it's crucial.
Uh-huh.
So John does an excellent job of that and managing that. But other school districts to the north of us ran short of students and ran short of funds and risked almost the state taking them over.
Okay.
So one of, I think, our primary jobs as a board is to make sure that we're fiscally responsible. And we have a great, staff and do that, that I'm very proud that we do that, so we don't end up in a situation where the state's knocking on our door going, we're going to take over, so. And we want everyone to come here, so.
And is it also not true that we have not regained the average daily attendance percentage before COVID? Yeah, so
That's correct. Yeah.
people attended more often, more regularly before COVID, and we've been trying to get back to those levels.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking the question. Great. We did that. Okay, any other questions about enrollment or any of those things? All right, thank you again, and thank you to all the office managers for entertaining my crazy idea.
She
And I
provided
really
a nice segue.
Appreciate it. What?
She provided a nice
I
segue.
know. Awesome. All right. Next, we have our presentation and adoption of Proclamation 2027-1, declaring September as School Attendance Awareness Month.
So yes, we're asking that you declare September our Attendance Awareness Month, and I prepared a little presentation for you all to talk about how we are going to push this attendance initiative, not only in September, so September is the launch month to kick it off, but also throughout the year. Our goal is that 95%. That's behind everything that we plan to do is to reach that goal. So whether it's looking at prevention, whether it's looking at that year-round system, not just month by month, looking at what each school site might be doing, putting teams together, overall the goal is to hit that 95% mark. So we had an awesome video that went out on Monday from our superintendent, and that has launched this initiative moving forward. And what we're looking at for our school sites specifically is back to school night slides and mentioning how the importance of attendance there. We have a postcard initiative ready to go for students that miss school to be able to write them a postcard or send a quick parent square message to let them know we miss you, we want you here. So the idea is to get personal and to have it be low pressure and really communicate with those students, build those relationships.
Then we want some site level action. So looking at some positive attendance incentives, whether that is perfect attendance or hitting that 95% mark. We are working with principals to include attendance as part of PBIS. So part of PBIS Tier 1 is really trying to get all kids to school and also improve that climate and culture at school. We know that when climate and culture improves at school sites, kids want to come to school. So kind of a natural mesh between the two. So anything from class to class competitions or maybe grade level competitions, principals doing shout outs or certificates for kids that might get 95% attendance, having extra rewards or whatnot, and then even maybe some perfect month attendance incentives, maybe for school sites or grade levels or things like that. So during admin week, all of the principals brainstormed with their admin teams or together to collaborate on what types of incentives they might be able to do launching moving forward. And this was part of PBIS Tier 1's initial conversation. So like I said, we want to make it stick. September is just the launch. September is the kickoff, the push, but we want to keep it going month to month. So having data be part of this, being able to review our data, drill into root causes, being able to act on those root causes, and then build this into a routine so that we can intervene sooner and early on. So looking at data analysis at principals meetings, at assistant principal meetings, having office managers meetings or meetings with our attendance clerks to ensure that we're pulling accurate data. One of the things that I would really like is to get our families involved. So we're working on a home visit training to launch out with our school staff, whether it's community liaisons or student support advisors, either with myself or our district community liaisons. So when we can't reach that family or the family is non-responsive, that we're able to train staff to go to the home and do those home visits, which is a great best practice recommended by the CD in terms of supporting families and going to them to figure out what resources and supports they might need in order to come to school. The idea is that it is supportive and it's not, our SRO showing up at their doorstep, but a friendly face that is really wanting to help them get their children to school. And then looking at positive routines flyers and things like that, positive messages related to routines, both all the way from TK up into high school, whether that looks like morning routines or evening routines, working with our CPI partners, California Parenting Institute, and our resource center on either classes for parents or resources that they have, informational materials that we can give to parents to support routines at home. And then more ideas. These are just ideas, tying it into different spirit weeks. So PBIS Tier 1, we do launches at the beginning of the school year. Every school site does some type of kickoff. There's usually a revisit in January, another revisit usually at the spring break mark, so tying in attendance into those types of spirit weeks. Looking at classroom attendance challenges. I had a lofty goal of weekly social spotlights, but maybe more monthly, depending on how we can do it, of really highlighting the schools or the classrooms that are showing those positive attendance rates. And then in partnering with our community, looking at businesses that might be able to provide incentives, working with local community members to help support attendance. So that is our goal.
I had one just thought. I don't know how you would actually do it, but like being tardy in the morning is worse. It's punitive, right? Than being absent. Like if you're high school and I think if you get a certain number of tardies, you might get a detention. So I'd rather just be absent for the whole class, or I might just choose, well, if I'm going to be absent for the first class, I might as well just be absent for the whole day. And I know we don't want to encourage students to be tardy, but I'm wondering if sometimes that causes the problem where it's like, I'd rather just not go at all. My parents will call me out versus I'm going to come 10 minutes late. I don't know.
We definitely want our kiddos to show up,
Right.
TK through 12, whatever that might look like. Like in the video that went out even if they come a little bit later, we want to see them. And if it is something that is impeding them getting to school on a timely manner, we want to know about that. And we want to help support that as well. But yes, communicating about tardies is definitely part of it.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
I do have a question. So, like Windsor, you know, their high school, they come in like later on Wednesdays or something like that. They like in the middle of the week, the kids come in. How is their attendance up there? I mean, does that make a difference? Because they say that, you know, teenagers need more sleep, and that's why they did it. Have we studied that at all?
I have not, but it's definitely something I can look into. I have
We moved
connections
the
in
high
Windsor.
school start time back.
We did?
ago. Yeah.
At 8:30.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to adopt Proclamation 2027-1 declaring September as School Attendance Awareness Month?
All motion to adopt.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Oh, you guys are so speedy now. Roll call?
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Nelson,
Aye.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Wing.
Yes. Next up, Resolution 2027-2 recognizing Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month.
Yes, we're asking the board to approve suicide prevention. September is the Suicide Prevention Month. One of the things that we are doing, we've contracted with CPI, our community partners, and they are providing workshops in our secondary classrooms, signs of suicide, to help students become aware of potential signs among their peer group or within themselves. So that is our support of Suicide Awareness Month.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2027-2 recognizing Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month?
I'll move.
Can I get a second?
All second.
Roll call?
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Nelson,
Aye.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Wing.
Yes. Next, we have Resolution 2027-3 National Hispanic Heritage Month.
Again, another resolution we're asking your approval of for National Hispanic Heritage Month. We have our huge celebration happening at the high school, and I had the date on the tip of my tongue, and now I've lost it. Thank you, audience. Saturday, September 19th. We hope that you can attend. It's during the school day. I just want to acknowledge that one of the things the board challenged me on was we do these resolutions, but what are we doing to support them? So I'm hoping that you're seeing a shift here, is that we're working really hard to make sure that there is some substance behind the resolutions that you're adopting. So thank you very much for that challenge. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2027-3 National Hispanic Heritage Month?
I move.
Can I get a second?
All second.
Roll call?
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Nelson,
See.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Wing.
Yes. All right. Next up, we have the CRP-USD and Roanoke Park Cotati Educators Association amended proposal to negotiate reopeners to the 2024-2027 collective bargaining agreement.
Yes, this evening, the Cotati Roanoke Park Unified School District and Roanoke Park Cotati Educators Association, or RIPSIA, share a mutual commitment to collaborative, good faith partnership throughout the collective bargaining process. In keeping with that partnership and in accordance with the Educational Employment Relations Act and the district's obligation to conduct labor negotiations in public, the district and RIPSIA jointly provide public notice of our intent to reopen negotiations for the full collective bargaining agreement between the parties for a successor to the 2024 to 2027 collective bargaining agreement. This notice filed jointly gives the public today, anyone who would like, the opportunity to comment on the proposed successor agreement prior to the start of negotiations. Public comment may be submitted at the board meeting at which this notice is presented, or in writing to myself or Grace Dauscher, our RIPSIA president.
All right. Any questions? All right. Happy bargaining. Sorry, happy IBBing. Sorry.
Thank you. We look forward to starting in September.
Awesome. All right. Approval of CSEA MOU regarding food service clerk for the 26-27 school year.
Yes, so this evening I'm asking for the board to approve an MOU. This MOU has been ratified by our CSEA labor partners. This MOU involves one particular position within the food services department, the clerk position. The prior MOU that you approved was for all food services staff and included the salary increase because they are funded differently. It's not funded out of the general fund, of a 2% salary increase for food service, as well as 5 additional days on the calendar. This one is different in that it would include the salary increase, but they don't need the 5 increased days because they already work more days than the other positions within the department. So it's just the increase and not the 5 days. So it's a separate MOU for this one employee.
Great. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the CSEA MOU regarding food service clerk for the 26-27 school year?
All motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you
Future
very much.
business and agenda items. Trustee Johnson? Trustee Brown? Trustee Nelson?
None.
Martin?
I'd like to see the conversation with she and the district continue for how to provide education for students in special ed, just because the abuse rate is pretty high. I want to make sure that they get the right education with that.
Thank you. Dr. Fields and I will have a conversation about that. Appreciate you bringing that forward.
Student board members, anything? All right. With that, we will end the meeting and we will see everyone on September 8th. We will call it at 7:31.